And your host for tonight, Steve Harvey.
Thank you all very much. Welcome to Family Feud with the big cheese, Steve Harvey. Here's how the game works. You answer the questions from the big board right behind me. And if you win, the points go to your side. Whoever has the most points could win a very special surprise from the 1920s. Isn't that crazy? So, obviously, today's edition of Family Feud is 1920s. Let's meet our teams. Everybody give it up for the Schrader family. Hello, Morgan Schrader. What do you do for work?
I'm actually unemployed.
What? Now, it's time to meet the competitor of the Schrader family. Let's give it up for the Kane family! Okay, alright. Hello, Addison. Welcome to the show. Now, what do you do for work?
I'm a nurse for the military.
Love to hear that. That is amazing. That's right. Alright, let's get this game started. Give me Morgan. Give me Addie. Up to the front. Woo! Are you guys both ready?
Yes.
There's one big answer on the board. One hand behind your back and one hand on the table. The question is, what was one big invention in 1920?
The radio.
Yes! That is correct! Woohoo! Alright now, Addison, since you did very good and got that last one right, I have 3 questions for you. And you need to answer them all right. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. The first question is, why did they invent the radio?
They invented it because they wanted to listen to podcasts and music.
Incorrect. The Schrader family now can steal.
Wait.
No. So we were just over at the Kane family. Addison just answered. Dumb Dora. Not good. Podcasts weren't invented back in the 1920s. All right, Morgan. So, now I'm going to ask the question again. Why did they invent the radio?
They invented the radio so they can listen to the military and people could hear it all 24 hours of the day.
Congratulations! That answer is correct. Morgan just received 10 points.
Companies had been quick to realize how effective it could be for promoting products. Medicines, food, soft drinks, coffee, and even cars were all advertised on the radio. Stations also realized how effective radio could be as a source of news. Radio listeners of the era grew accustomed to the phrase, "We interrupt this broadcast," which was usually followed by a breaking news bulletin. As technologies improved, many stations even featured a live man on the scene who would report about events taking place. Probably the nation's best-known voice on the radio in the 1930s was that of President Franklin Roosevelt. Throughout the decade, he offered periodic radio addresses known as fireside chats. These addresses were intended to assure the nation that, although times were tough, things would get better.
Now, there's 5 big answers on the board, and both contestants need to answer them correctly. Addie, Morgan, come back to the stand, please. Are you both? You know the drill. One hand behind your back, one hand on the table. Shaking. Very nice. All right. Are you guys ready for the question?
Yeah.
Yep.
What are 5 inventions in 1921?
Drive-in restaurants, Band-Aids, the lie detector, wire photos, and robots.
Correct! Morgan, more points on the board. Kane family sitting at nothing. For the second question out of the 5 that you need to answer is, what is the wire photo?
The wire photo was supposed to send new photos across the Atlantic Ocean much faster than it did before. Images took days to send, from being sent from mails, trains, and maybe even planes. The goal of the wire photo was to get images sent faster than it ever did before.
Correct! That was amazing! Oh, moving on. Why was the robot in the 1920s such an important thing?
They were used to perform tasks that humans could not do. Joseph Kaplik created the robot to manufacture more human tasks. The goal was to have humans do less work and robots do all the work for the humans.
Correct! Moving on to the last question. If you get this right, you get 60 points. It would really put you ahead of the Kane family. Not doing too good. What is a drive-in restaurant, and why was it important in the 1920s?
Restaurant is where people back in the day would show up and eat and hang out with one another. A Texas chain of restaurants called the Pig Standard started to incorporate. Car hops would immediately help customers and would deliver them to the kitchen. This is very important because more and more people were made each day in pre-recession years. Vehicles were able to be afforded.
Yes, that is correct. You now are at 70 points. The Kane family is over there at 0.
Band-Aid. But where did it come from? Meet Earl Dixon, born in 1892. In 1920, Earl Dixon was a newly married employee at Johnson & Johnson. His new wife Josephine frequently burned or cut her fingers while cooking, and there wasn't an easy way for her to bandage her own wounds. Each day, Earl had to cut pieces of adhesive tape and gauze to make bandages. After a few weeks of this, Earl realized something had to change. So one day, he sat down and prepared several bandages in advance, attaching gauze squares along an adhesive strip and covering it with a fabric called crinoline. Instead of waiting for aid all day long, Josephine only needed to cut off a piece of the strip. Earl told his boss about the invention, and soon Johnson & Johnson produced the world's first adhesive bandages, which they called Band-Aids.
Welcome back to the show where the Schrader family is sitting at 70 points and the Kane family is at 10 points. She gained some, but still not enough to catch up with the Schrader family. There is 5 answers on the board and you need to answer all of the 5 of them. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what are the 5 inventions in 1922?
Electric blender, silent movie, convertible, water skis, and audio meter.
Holy smokes! Miss Schrader over here is getting the points again. Alright, the Schrader family is on a roll so far, so let's see if that keeps up. Morgan, who invented the electric blender?
Was it Earl Dickinson?
Incorrect! That's the guy who invented the Band-Aid. Let's see if the Kane family can steal this away from the Schrader family. Welcome back to Family Feud. Now, we moved on to Addison Kane. So, Addison. Morgan got the last question incorrect. She said that Earl Dickinson invented the electric blender, which was not right. So now, I am going to ask you the same question. Who invented the electric blender?
Stephen J. Poplawski invented the electric blender in 1922. The main reason was for making malts, milkshakes, and soda fountains.
Congratulations on getting it correct. So, Now, we're going to move on to the next question since you got it correct. You know the drill. Here we go. What is the history behind the water skis?
Was someone in Minnesota built a pair of skis and towed them behind a powered boat. Ralph Samuelson was the inventor of these fun water toys. Water skiing soon became a sport to both the Atlantic and the late 1920s.
Correct! Great job! Great job! All right. Now, on to the next question. Next question. Addie, who invented the hearing aids?
Miller Reese Hutchinson. The design used an electric current to amplify weak signals. Yes, they may have helped, but they were not portable.
Correct! You are rocking things right now. So, now we're going to keep moving on into the next question since she's just flying through these. All right, you're going to need a very, very descriptive and big answer for this last question. So, be prepared, be ready. Who invented the instant camera and what was it?
Samuel Schrock created the instant camera in 1923. This consisted of a camera that has a portable dark room in a single compartment. People found it useful for passport photos, along with ultrasounds, fashion shoots, and other uses that you would need instant cameras for. Police officers and fire investigators used them because of their ability to create alternable instant photos.
Correct! The Kane family is on 20 points behind the Schrader family. Who is going to win? Welcome back to the show after that real short commercial break. I have both contestants up at the stand, and here's an update on the points. The Kane family over here is at 50 points, and the Schrader family is at 70. So, now, there are two big answers on the board. Are you girls ready?
Yup.
What are two inventions from 1924?
The loudspeaker system and the cheeseburger.
Correct! Now, we're going to ask Morgan the 5 questions. All right, now that Morgan got it right, we are going to be asking her the questions. Same as usual. Here we go. The Schrader family is back on a streak. So, how did the loudspeaker help people out in 1924?
The loudspeaker was used in radios, phonographs, public address systems, and even theater sound systems for taking motion pictures. It used magnetic field to move a coil or a magnet.
Correct! On a roll, once again, here we go to the second question. All right, next question on the board. What's the history behind the cheeseburger?
So the cheeseburger was originally not the cheeseburger, and he invented so many more different ingredients on it, like the ham and mustard and pickles.
That is incorrect. Nope. Moving on to the Kane family to steal the answer. Here we are. Now, the Kane family is able to steal this answer since the Schrader family got it incorrect. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Same question. What is the history behind the cheeseburger?
A teenager named Lionel Sternberger worked at his dad's sandwich shop called The Right Spot, which was located in Pasadena, California. It was a simple invention, but one day Lionel decided to put a piece of American cheese on a hamburger patty.
Correct! Kane family has stole the answer away from the Schrader family, and now a short clip will be coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Now, we've both contestants back once again. The Kane family stole the last answer from the Schrader family, so here we go. This is one huge question. You know the drill? What was the one big invention created in 1925?
The TV remote.
Incorrect! That is not right. Now, we're going to give it to the Schrader family.
Television.
Woohoo! That was correct. All right, here we are with Morgan Schrader. Now, I'm going to ask the question. What did the television help with?
The television was the next logical step behind the radio. Before the television came along, people would sit around listening to the radio. So this is basically just how we would sit around and watch the TV.
Correct! That brings the Schrader family even more ahead of the Kane family. This is the winning question right here. Morgan, how did Technicolor help?
There were two Okay, what the fuck is this word?
Gelatin.
Oh, I literally knew that. Okay.
Just
Okay, wait, go right now. Literally just put the microphone on.
this could be the winning answer question right here. So, Morgan, how did Technicolor help in the 1920s?
There were two gelatin positives that were used as relief mattresses that printed color onto one strip of film. The process of printing made it possible to mass produce sturdy and high quality prints.
And we have a winner! Morgan Schrader just won the whole entire show! Woo! All right, this is what we all have been waiting for. The big 8 questions to get 100 points. Now, Morgan, how this works is if you answer all 8 questions correctly, you get the big surprise at the end. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. The first question is, what were 4 inventions in 1927?
The 4 inventions are the bread slicer, the jukebox, electric television system, and the garbage disposal.
That is correct! First answer, right. All right, now Morgan, we are moving on to the third question. Are you ready?
Yes.
What were 3 inventions created in 1928?
The electric blade razor, bubblegum, and sunglasses.
Perfect! Correct! Moving on to the 4th question. This is going to be our halfway mark. So, Morgan, how popular was the bubblegum?
Bubblegum was extremely popular, and Wrigley really started to take off, becoming one of the richest men in the nation. He did pass away, though, in 1932. The average American chewed about 105 pieces of bubblegum in a year within 1920s. This created a humongous demand.
Correct! Morgan is on a roll to win the huge surprise. All right, we are on to past the halfway mark, so here we go. What were 3 inventions in 1929?
The car radio, frozen food, and the game bingo.
Yes, that is correct. Moving on to question number 6. We're almost there. She's on a roll. So, how did they discover frozen food?
Birdseye discovered that the fish that he has caught pretty much froze immediately after he pulled it out of the water. He felt very proud that he had delicious fish when it thawed out a few months later.
Holy smokes, I am so, unbelievably awed about how well she's doing right now. We are almost done here. Question number 7. The suspense is getting really real right now. What is the background behind the bingo game?
The background was that Hugh J. Ward created and even standardized the game bingo at different carnivals all over the place. These carnivals were located around Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania. He then copyrighted the game and it was published afterwards.
That is correct! Moving on to the last question. This is the last question. It is all down to this. If she gets it wrong, the prize is gone. Here we go. What inventions were created that were technology or electronics?
The radio, the lie detector, the robot, the wire photo, the audiometer, the electric blender, and traffic signals.
We have ourselves a winner! All right, Morgan, how do you feel about taking the big win today on Family Feud?
I feel pretty good.
I am very happy to hear that. Now, here are your big surprises that are related to the 1920s. And, fun fact, they're actually from the 1920s. Don't worry, I have my ways. Here we go. First, we have dropping the mic. These Pez dispensers. We have Princess Leia and Lisa. So, these were made back in the 1900s to talk about, or to dispense breath mints for adults. So those are kind of lame, whatever. But the even better big surprise are the Band-Aids.
Oh,
These
my
Band-Aids are from 1920s. They were created in 1921 because Earl Dickinson wanted to have his wife easily apply this if she was hurt. Here is your prize. I
Thank
hope you
you
had
so
so much fun
much.
on the show today. So long, Morgan.
It was great meeting you.
I just want to say thanks again so much for coming to this special edition of Family Feud. This special edition was once again on the spectacular time of the 1920s. With all of these inventions, it helped life a lot. The 1920s was a decade of huge change. Many people were just getting cars, radios, Band-Aids, and all these things that will be helpful in their daily life. I think that it affected people in the 1920s in a positive way. People were able to freeze their food now instead of just wasting it. They got to go to drive-in restaurants where they didn't have to get out of their car to get food. And these new inventions put a positive force on them after World War I had just ended. It changed their life in a positive way, and people started to make more money so they could afford new things. Thank you again! I'll see you next time! Steve Harvey? Oh.